Now, from a distance, they look vaguely similar, don't they? And the reason you sat a bit further back is because that's possibly because not a big difference. But we got Bugs Bunny there. Last night, oh sorry, Merry Christmas everyone. Last night me and James said to get all these cushions off here and there and make a den. Unfortunately, as I was going into it, James was coming out and he headbutted me in the eye. So I look like I've got makeup on. Anyway, happy Christmas everyone. Here is a little bit about the XERION that you missed yesterday. Now, from a distance, they look vaguely similar, don't they? But if you look here at this hollow bit in the middle where it bends, so that is articulated steer. So it means the pivots in the middle there allows it to go around corners. Well, if you look at the XERION, there is no bendy bit. So how this steers is the tracks turn, a bit like on the telehandler, you've got steering rods, track rod ends. Now, it isn't that little tiny ram. It's this big ram in front here. But it's a bit hard to see actually because it's under there. That make it steer. So the hub has a hub there that pivots. So the back track turns and the front track turns, which allows it to go round bends. So from a distance, you just see a carbon engine and 4 big tracks, and you think they work the same way, but effectively they're a lot different. And although this is taller, looks bigger, I believe it to be 2 ton lighter than the QUADTRAC. According to Morgan, he reckoned he'd read up the spec. That's possibly because this has to sort of have a lot of weight around here at the pivot point. You've obviously got a big fuel tank, and maybe the track system's heavier. I mean, you've got 3 idlers on these, 2 on them ones at the bottom. So you've obviously got to have all whatever holds them together. These big axles there. Yeah, I've got the turning point in that, so not sure, but see how as well you've got the air intakes on. In fact, you know what, let me park them next to each other, you'll see better. I'll just move this out of the way and we'll park them next to each other. So because it's 4-wheel or 4-track steer, because you can have it on wheels as well, it is a little bit less twitchy on the road, but it's not quite as renewable as the quad would be. The quad would probably loop in there, whereas this I'll have to shunt. But let's face it, you're never going to have a 3 or 4 metre machine behind it and have to worry about that. It may only be in a yard, and I'm sure the target market for this wasn't a small arable farm in Tarbuck. But maybe when the second hand down the line and they're reasonably priced, you could consider one. You can actually look down on case drivers because you are sat, I don't know, maybe a foot higher, 8 inches higher. We'll jump out and have a proper look. Let's turn it off. In fact, maybe we'll start in the cab. This armrest here, I think it lifts up. I think it's just been set really low. Yeah, you can. Oh yeah, you do. You've got little things here to move it. Little toggles there. But yeah, that lifts up and everything is pretty much done on that joystick. Got your spool levers. Transmission settings, rear linkage, more spool levers here. Steering wheel adjust nice and easy. Dashboard there, GPS there. Now, I want to say reversing cameras, but it's more than just a reversing camera if it warms up. That's the front, so that's looking out the front of the bonnet either side. Like what you call a fisheye camera. I'll jump out and show you. You can walk around the back of the cab as well. Diesel, AdBlue. Nice big platform. And you can also walk around this side to the mirrors. don't all come with fairy lights. Steps, they're quite straight on, but they are a little steep. I would guess that the QUADTRAC ones are a little less steep, perhaps. Not a big difference, but probably a bit more angle on them. From the back, the drawbar looks a little bit higher on the XERION. See how much higher the cab is, can't you? This is a better idea. These being solid, because it took us ages to clean all the mud out of them after we've been working potato ground the other week. I'll just try to shut this door. It's a bit far to reach from there. So let's have a look at this. So them tracks stand about that high. Not a big difference considering these aren't worn. Oh, I'll show you them cameras in the front. There you go, so that's looking to the right. Or the left, sorry, and that's looking to the right. So the idea is when you come up to junctions or out of field gateways, you can see what's coming, because obviously if the front of the tractor's here, you're talking, I don't know, 20 feet, 18 foot before you can see. Same on the quad in some ways. Maybe a little bit shorter. In fact, should we measure that? Let's measure it. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 feet, say, to the backrest in the cab. Right, let's try this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-ish. Yeah, so you definitely do need that camera because you are sat that bit further back. And the reason you sat a bit further back is because you've got all these big cooling packs. I mean, I thought this had a big front grille with radiators, but on here it's something else, just to get all that air through in hot countries, cool the engine. But because there's no pivot like on here, you know, you can't put the cab there because it get crunched in the pivot, whereas here there is no cab, so it can't pivot, so it can be further back. Really simple design, like a big chassis, like a ladder chassis, would you call it, front to back, with everything fastened onto it. The ground clearance as well, let's see if we can get in picture. You've kind of got, what, 18 inches of ground clearance onto the quad, whereas this, I suppose, the lowest point's this bracket here. You know, you've got nearly an extra foot on top. There's probably 18 inches above my boot now. So you have obviously got the drawbar at the back that sits a bit lower, but depending on spec, I presume you could unbolt that drawbar and have something different maybe. No, I suppose because that's integral to the linkage. No, maybe you wouldn't. So you've got 18 inches on the drawbar, but the front barely sits high. But I suppose this drawbar, you've only really got 14 inches. So it's definitely got a lot more ground clearance. So I don't know what that means, that it won't get stuck as easy. Or if you do get stuck, you've gone further into the wet hole. This is unique as well. These rubber dampers here, so as you're going down the road, this is taking the bumps and it can flex. Track unit can flex up and down. Whereas on the quad, it's all solid. And for that to flex, it has to pivot here. So it does make it a bit more like bouncy on the road. But I mean, obviously this design's, I don't know, 30 years old perhaps. It's changed in somewhat over the years, whereas this design's not even 3 years old. So they've obviously looked at suppose looked at the shortcomings of this one and developed their own one. If you're a case man, you'd argue that them extra rollers, one extra roller is better, because if you ignore the rubber band, you've got an axle, an axle, an axle, an axle, an axle. Whereas on this one, you've just got 4. So if you think you've got 5. You've got 5 here and 4 there. You say you've got an extra 20% more axles on the floor. And when you think that you're only seeing half of them, because there's another set that side and another set the other side of the bonnet, you've got 10 on each wheel, so you've got 40. Whereas this will only have, what's the maths on that? 32? No, 1, 2, 4, 8, 6, yeah, 32. So you could argue that this will tread a bit harder than that, but it's lighter, and it also depends on the track tension as well, to somewhat. Maybe I have to dig a soil pit to see. I'm not sure of the fuel tank capacities, because obviously that fuel tank's up there, whereas this is here. This is obviously a baby QUADTRAC, because they go up to 715 horsepower now, which will be bigger. The 715's probably more comparable to that, and that does have a huge bonnet and a huge cooling pack. But they're certainly amazing looking tractors, the pair of them. Oh yeah, I'll show you this. So this is all the AdBlue and the exhaust. So the exhaust is completely hidden because there's no pivot point. They can bolt it on the side and it's not in your way of your view. Whereas the QUADTRAC has spent a lot of time trying to design that big, massive couple of oil drums stacked up. So it's hidden behind that A-pillar, and you'd wonder how you hide a 3 foot by 2 foot exhaust gas recirculation AdBlue treatment system behind a 3-inch pillar, but believe it or not, they have pretty well. I mean, you can see the size of it there, but when you sit in the seat here, a lot of it does sort of disappear, which is quite clever. This is a QUADTRAC cab. It's a little bit older in design. Similar though in some ways, most of the controls will be on the joystick. This is for the Christmas lights. But yeah, QUADTRAC. QUADTRAC's got red leather, which always looks quite snazzy. This is where you fuel the QUADTRAC up as well, at the back. I think Steiger, which does it say on the front anymore or not? Used to have a little Steiger badge. No, it doesn't. Steiger, who Case bought out for the 4-track system tractor, had the patent on 4 tracks, but I believe it's off patent now, and that's why CLAAS have got them out, John Deere have got them out, New Holland have got them out. I suppose we should probably get some more stats around the rear hitch. Maybe I'll do a more detailed video in a few days of which lifts the most fuel tank capacities and etc. But I'll compare it to the 600 and odd horsepower Case rather than the baby one that we have. Although the 600 horsepower one I think is the same size chassis as that. But go on then, today's quiz question: which one do you prefer if they were both new? Let us know in the comments. Let me know what your favourite is. I've got me Agri Christmas top on. We might do this edition, maybe, for when we're any more demonstrations for testing, whatever. Don't forget, get your bonfires ready for New Year's Eve. Anyway, there's a little bit of Saddleworth tractor run, followed by the Northwest Air Ambulance doing the birthdays in a special way. Anyone think we make any rounds around here? That's mega, but I don't know whether it'll survive, because when we did it the other year with a deer on the roof, it got decapitated by a tree. Which is your favourite, James? Yeah, Daddy's. I still think that snowman might end up worse for wear. But we got Bugs Bunny there, and then here he is. Quality sign there.
Cool. There's James.
Must be a thing about putting lights on Audis. You can see he's been drinking today. Restaurants are empty, aren't they? Piled out to watch.
Joe's on the left down here.
How far down will Joe be?
Is that where the clock is?
Keep your eye out for Joe seals. Some people there.
Wow, where is he? He is... I can't see him.
Yeah, at the end.
Oh yeah. There he is.
Hey! That pub's done a roaring trade, hasn't it? Baby shark, and they can have the rood in a minute off John. Mission accomplished. Everyone's filing back in now. Some massive crowds. The crowds get bigger every year. Oh look, finally got my own jumper. We might do an angry edition, angry constituent maybe, for when you're protesting. Everyone's had something to eat now, and they're venturing off. A new New Holland Maserati blue. A few more heading out. Is that the 1494? Yeah. Mint. So that's 16. Can't see. Come up here.
Hello, Merry Christmas. We're the crew of HeliMed 75 from Northwest Air Ambulance. We'd like to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas, and today we've been asked to do Ollie's birthday bumper on our helicopter. So we've got a few names that we're going to read out. We can't write on the helicopter, but we've put your names on the front there, on the inside of the nose cone. I'll kick off with thank you very much to Ty the Scotsman Douglas. It's his happy birthday to him. We'd like to say happy birthday to Michael Cotton, who's 60, and that's off Rachel. And a very happy birthday to Annette Glover, and she's pledged something to help us reach our target.
Super. We would like to wish Graham Nifty Noble a very happy 70th birthday, and Oshan Llyr Williams, Pebble Hapus, happy birthday for your 37th birthday.
And let's not forget, thank you Ollie for your continued support.
And from all us here at the Northwest Air Ambulance, we wish you all a very Merry Christmas. Bye.
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 I think it's getting worse. Anyway, there's a surprise at the end of the video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. After 3. 1, 2, 3. Happy Christmas, everyone.
What was it, Merry Christmas?
Should we say Merry Christmas instead?
Yeah, I thought that's what we were saying.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Merry Christmas, everyone.